So the thing is, the proper grip is not always the same for you as it is for me or my son or somebody else. And so it's really based upon your body. Hello, I'm Frederick, and this is A Golfer's Walk. Today, I'm going to start probably a new series. I'm here today with my new friend, Larry. Larry, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So Larry, you're a 21.2. 21.2. Had the honor of meeting Larry about a week ago. Met through a mutual friend, Tanner, and played a little golf together. Larry has a pretty good short game for a 21 handicap. And so today we're going to work together a little bit on the range, talk a little bit about some of the fundamentals of the golf swing, and see if we can't get him down to single digits, because he is certainly an athlete, and there was definitely some huge signs that we saw on the golf course. Give us a little background on you, Larry. What's your background in life? Certainly appear to be pretty athletic, so what's your background in sports?
So originally from Baltimore.
Okay.
Moved here in 2008. 2009 was the first time I actually struck a ball on the golf course, actually at Overlook Golf Course.
Right here?
Hole number 17. I was out with my best friend and his dad on Father's Day.
Okay.
And I was just driving the cart, and my best friend wasn't having a great day. So he decided to say, Larry, on 17, I'm done. You want to play the last two holes? And I'm like, sure.
Okay.
Been to the driving range a couple times, had never really played golf, and grabbed his driver. First ball I hit straight down the fairway, 220 yards with the driver.
Got the hook.
And, yeah,
and you're
they reeled me in, hung me up on the wall and everything. So,
yeah.
Of course, the next 3 or 4 or 7 shots I hit went way right slice, but that didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was already hooked from the first shot.
Yeah.
And putting was fun. You know, everybody did putt when they were growing up. So he got me a set of golf clubs from a neighbor. We went to the range. He had me hit the 7-iron. He's like, once you learn to hit the 7-iron, then you hit it. You should be able to hit everything in your bag. Okay. And so that's what I did for that whole summer. The rest of that summer, I never played golf until the following summer. And went out and started playing. I'm a chef by trade, so I get out, during the day most of the time, and got to playing and got hooked and started buying clothes and gear, and bought my first set 2 years later for my birthday. Rack set from, it was actually Sports Authority.
Okay.
And played and took pointers from different people, 2 years ago was the first year I took professional lessons.
Oh, good.
And so now I'm in a transition of changing my swing. I no longer slice the ball, now hook, and I blast the ball into the ground and it runs up the golf course, and I don't know how to fix it. Okay. So
right.
I met Frederick on Sunday, like you said. He said he would work with me. I'm excited to learn.
Great. Well, I'm certainly excited to be able to work with you. I'm not a teaching professional by trade. I don't get paid to do this. I just love to teach, and seem like a very willing student. Certainly have a lot of potential, so I think it'd be pretty exciting. All right, so I guess the first thing is that I want to kind of review the golf swing as a concept, as to what it really is and how it relates to other sports and how you can take those things. And then we're going to break down kind of the very simple fundamental move in the golf swing, what it is. There's a lot of new things that are out there that talk about, ways to generate power and using your body and your hips, and while they're involved, it's all really keyed off of your hands, and that often gets forgotten. And as a result, kind of the very basics of the golf swing are completely forgotten. And the alternative is it creates great inconsistency because of not actually working on club face. So the first thing is that the entire game of golf is based upon this club face hitting the ball as square as possible. It's not about how you turn your shoulders. It's really about face control. And so what we want to do is that we want to be able to bring that ball in and allow it to square up, and we want to keep things as simple as possible. We don't want to create things and do things, either whether it's a grip or a stance or the way we move, that then require our body to make an adjustment to undo what we've done, right? We want to start with very simple things to be able to make it as simple as possible to return that club back to square, or to be able to control that face. So sometimes it may be about trying to lower it, to try and hit maybe a little bit lower penetrating shot or a little bit higher shot, or maybe we need to cut the shot or hook the shot. It's all about this face control. So the big thing is that, let me have you put this in your right hand. Put your hand out like this. All right. So really, if we go, hold on to the club like this. So now, really, this club is your hand, right? So the idea is that we want to get your hand on there so that it's very easy for you to know where square is. Okay. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that when we address the ball, we don't want to put ourselves in a way or tighten a muscle or do something that is hard to return to. So like if I start here and I somehow have to get it to here to hit it well, I have to make an adjustment mid-swing, right? If I start with my hands here, this is, my hands want to be this way, I've got to do something to square it back up, right? So what we want to do first is we want to get ourselves attached to this club the best way possible, because that is, your hands are the number one thing they're going to control that club face. All right. So the first thing is, tell you what, why don't we have you face the camera? And what I want you to do is I want you just to start with, we're going to just take a nice a stance. Just let our arms hang. We don't need to like try and grab a club. We're just going to stand here, a little bend at the waist, and just relax and make sure our neck is nice and loose. Okay. So the first thing I want you to notice is the way that this arm is hanging. Okay? Your arm is not hanging this way. All right? It's hanging that way. That's the way your arm naturally wants to sit in your shoulder socket. Okay? So when you go to swing the club, your arm is going to extend out in your shoulder socket and hopefully return to its natural position. That's where it's going to want to go. If you put your hands differently and it wants to go back to its natural position, you're going to have to fight that, right? So a lot of times there's a misconception, and I don't know why it's out there, but they've always said, well, we want our hands straight and just kind of bring them in so that they're facing each other. The problem is that your left hand and your left arm and your right arm do two different things. So the grip should not be the same, right? Your left arm is really about that pivot point, right? It's just the thing that kind of keeps it on track. So when we go to swing, we want that arm naturally to return back to its natural position where it wants to be. And that has to do with how if we're going to let our arms hang, that our hand, we grab the club with our hand like this. So as you can see about 2 to almost 3 knuckles. Mm-hmm. So when you grip that club, we do not want to be, as we frequently see with people, we don't want to be in a position where your hand is very much this way, because that's not the way your arm hangs. Now for me, my hands actually turn in even more. So the thing is, the proper grip is not always the same for you as it is for me, or my son, or somebody else. And so it's really based upon your body, because that's what we're working with here, right? Okay. So for me, when I do it, as much as my hand is turned in, I want to see almost 3 knuckles. So my hand is very much on top. Now people will say that that's strong. Yeah. And in the definition of identifying a position, yes, but it's not strong. This is neutral for me. Gotcha. Right. Right. So when we take the club, for me, I want to see almost 3 knuckles, okay? Keeping that face square. And then the right hand, you're basically going to take this middle portion, this lifeline, I think it's called, and you want to put it right over your thumb. Now the thing is that we want to keep the club in our fingers, not in our hands. Okay? So if we hold it into our fingers, right, that's where it's able to do lots of things. As soon as we get it into our hands, it activates different muscles that don't allow the same movement. See, in the golf swing, the speed comes from your hands, not from your body rotation, right? So I could stand here, stay up here for just a second. So I could stand here, right, and I could turn my body as fast as I want, right, without my hands, and I can only move it so fast. But just with my hands, I can get a lot more speed. So for the grip, we want to make sure that we do everything that allows our hands to work properly, to be optimal. So when you take it, you want to make sure that you're going to see two knuckles, that you hold it, and you see two knuckles, but get it in your fingers. It may feel a little bit strange at first, and then you're going to do the same thing with getting it in your fingers here, and then putting your right hand so that it fits right over that club. Your forefinger and your thumb will either be almost touching or slightly apart. So let's start with that. So let's let our arm hang naturally. Right. So now we see about two knuckles, so you want to get your hand on there. Yep. And we want to get it out of your palm and in your finger. There you go. Okay. It's probably a bit strong. There you go. You want to get you want to get right in there. See, now they're together. Now your hands are together. Just make sure it's in your fingers. Good. How does that feel?
Awkward.
Weird.
Awkward. But it's
All right.
because it's something that haven't been done for the past 10 years.
It's different.
Yeah.
So it should feel
Awkward.
different or unusual
Yeah.
or awkward or whatever the case may be.
In the golf swing, this hand, the movement is basically taking our hands back and hitting it that way. We do not want to do all this rotational type thing